Jungkook just changed his profile picture on his new Instagram account, and if you've been paying attention, you probably noticed a detail that didn't go unnoticed. He used an image related to his personal brand, Golden. But what caught our attention the most was the green background he chose, and it's not the first time that color has appeared when it comes to him and Taehyung. For many of us, green is a color that represents them as a couple, due to the number of times it has been present in important moments between them. It's one of those things that no longer seems like a coincidence. It's not uncommon for Jungkook to share things that, even if they seem small, end up saying a lot. The photo, beyond being part of his project, also seems like a subtle way of showing us that he and Taehyung continue to share time, work, and life together. The two are in Los Angeles, working on BTS's next album, and although the whole group is involved, you know how they are, they always find a way to be together. It's not that they're all over each other all the time, it's just clear that they prefer to be with each other, work together, and move together. It's become a constant, and every time one takes a step, the other isn't far away. Like when Taehyung launched his solo project and Jungkook was there to support him, and the same thing is happening now. These kinds of gestures are where you see what there is between them. Sometimes it's with a look, or sometimes with a photo, the connection between them remains visible. No matter the context, their way of being present in each other's lives is always noticeable. Something similar happened recently when Thai actor Arkan Aiden shared a snippet of a live show featuring Taehyung and Jungkook. He imitated a gesture Taehyung made with Jungkook, and then, in the same video, someone approached him and kissed him on the cheek. This sparked many interpretations, not only because that same gesture, when we saw it in Taehyung, also carried an emotional charge, and as a fan of Taehyung, you know that every gesture between them carries weight. It's not that everything they do has a hidden meaning, but when it comes to them, the way they communicate is different. Arkan isn't the first to notice the dynamic, he's spoken about them before. What's interesting is that even people outside the fandom recognize that connection, and that says a lot. Every time they're together, it's as if their energy shifts. There's a calmness, a comfort that isn't seen with everyone. It might be on a live stream or in a brief appearance, but the way they look at each other, the way they understand each other, remains the same. It's not all about what they post or show directly, it's often more about what they let on without saying it. Like that green background in Jungkook's photo, for some it might just seem like a color, but if you've been following Taekook for a while, you know it has its own story. And yes, it's true that they're with the rest of the group in this new phase of the album, and that's exciting too. But when you think about Taehyung and Jungkook, you can't help but notice how they continue to invest in their relationship even in the midst of routine. Their way of being together hasn't changed, even though everything around them evolves. No one says that everything they do is designed to prove a point, but we can't ignore the patterns either. It's the way they've accompanied each other for years, the trust with which they look at each other, and the space they always find to be together. The moment of Taehyung and Jungkook's last live left one of those signals that need no explanation. Jungkook was the one who closed the live, but he did it from his own cell phone using Taehyung's official Instagram account, and it's not the first time they shared things, but this action was quite direct. What we saw wasn't a simple technical gesture, it was a clear display of total trust. If Jungkook has access to that account, it's because there are no boundaries between them, and that says a lot about how they handle themselves as a couple. It wasn't a mistake, nor something that can be interpreted otherwise. Taehyung had previously made his account public for a live with him, so there's a consistency in all of this. They're comfortable showing who they are, without pretending it's something different. They don't hide it, but they don't over-explain it either, they let it be seen naturally, as it should be in a stable relationship. And then came another detail. Jungkook updated his Instagram profile with an image featuring the initials JK and V joined together with a symbol that, visually, is very close to the infinity symbol. Not only that, the colors match those Taehyung uses in his own profile picture. They're subtle choices, but meaningful. Those who follow both know that these kinds of decisions aren't random. It's a visual language that those who pay attention understand, and it confirms a strong emotional connection between the two. The infinity symbol isn't an ornament, it represents a never-ending relationship, one that doesn't depend on the moment. And that's what they project. They're together, they're okay, and they don't need to hide or justify themselves. They say it with actions, not words. Over time, they've always been consistent. They don't change their way of showing themselves because of what people say. What we saw on live, the shared access, the details in the photos, all of this fits with what they've been building for years. It's nothing new, but they're making it more and more evident. It's as if they're no longer interested in playing with ambiguities, they're still themselves, together, and that's enough. Sharing social media is something not everyone does, especially in these kinds of public contexts. But between them, sharing passwords, accounts, and moments is natural. They don't do it to prove anything, but it inevitably proves a lot. Of course, that hasn't stopped comments from emerging from people trying to cast doubt on what already seems obvious. However, attempts at misinformation or manipulation haven't changed the path they've chosen. Far from hiding, they continue to show their life together naturally, like any other couple in love enjoying their time together. Seeing them together, calm, enjoying small moments like a live show or a shared photo, is further proof that their relationship is based on something authentic. They're not trying to convince anyone, they're simply living their bond honestly, and that's what has made so many fans feel a special connection with them. Taehyung and Jungkook have become a symbol of what it means to love without labels or restrictions. They've proven that a healthy and strong relationship can be maintained even under public scrutiny. The way they support each other, how they interact, and how they express respect and affection for each other is an inspiration to many young people looking to see examples of real relationships based on sincerity. The idea of one soul and two bodies isn't simply a pretty phrase in this context, it's a symbolic way of describing what one feels when they're together, a deep connection that goes beyond words. Although each has their own identity and space, when they come together, they form something greater, something that defines them and strengthens them as a couple. What's most striking about watching Taehyung and Jungkook isn't a specific moment, nor a single reaction. What's truly striking is how each small gesture builds on the previous one and creates something that seems deeper than a simple glance or casual closeness. From the outside, it may seem natural or spontaneous, but upon closer inspection, there's something repeated, something that returns every time they're together. Each of their behaviors follows a pattern. But it's not a forced pattern, or something that seems acted out, it's an invisible habit that becomes present when they share space. It's as if they have an emotional routine, a constant way of being that has become a habit over time. They do it without thinking, without preparation, as if it were part of their way of life when they are with each other. It's not just that they look at each other or touch each other, it's that they do it with confidence. There's no hesitation in their gestures. Their bodies lean in without fear, their hands brush against each other without nervousness, and their expressions change in a way that they don't with anyone else. It's a clear and constant transformation. The atmosphere around them also changes. It becomes more closed, more focused on just the two of them. That connection is seen more in what they don't do than in what they do. Their glances, their pauses, their way of approaching each other already say it all. It's as if they exist in their own communication system, where words are superfluous because their actions already say everything. This kind of connection doesn't appear out of nowhere, it only forms over time, with the habit of being together, with the comfort of knowing each other is understood without having to explain. That's why it doesn't seem like something temporary. It's constant. It's repeated. And it's so strong that anyone who observes it without distractions can realize that this isn't something ordinary. This bond doesn't only last at certain moments, it's present every time they're around each other. It doesn't matter the place, the context, or who's watching. The way they act doesn't change. And that's what makes so many Taekookers realize what's really there between them. It's a silent routine that repeats itself over and over again, and that repetition creates the foundation for something much deeper. Between Taehyung and Jungkook, there's no need to express what they feel with words. What they have goes beyond what can be expressed in phrases or dialogue. Every time they're around each other, they use a kind of language that isn't taught, isn't studied, and can't be faked. It's a language formed by looks, by touch, by the way their bodies naturally respond to each other's presence. When Taehyung is next to Jungkook, there's a noticeable calm. There's no tension, no hesitation. The same thing happens with Jungkook. His body language transforms. His shoulders slump, his expression softens, and his movements are slower, more careful. There's no sign that they're acting for the world. Everything is direct, authentic, and clear. There are times when their actions are so small they could go unnoticed. But those actions, when repeated so often, cease to be small. They become part of something bigger. It's as if every touch, every glance, every small contact is part of a code between them. A code that remains constant and that only they know how to decipher.